Welcome to my soldering station, my kitchen counter. The main reason that I'm doing this in my kitchen is because of my soldering technique, because I am the most proficient at it, and I'm worried about overheating the cells. As soon as I'm done soldering a connection, I throw the batteries in my freezer for a minute, so that they instantly cool down, because they do tend to get quite hot. I'm using a 100... there we go, camera. Okay, anyways, it's 140 gun and a 100 watt gun. My soldering technique leaves a little bit to be desired as far as I'm concerned, but these batteries were soldered to before, so it's not like I'm soldering clean tabs. What happened was I had a battery pack that was home built by somebody else. There's the other side. You can see my soldering job there. And I'll explain in a minute how I made those bus bars. But anyways, I had a lithium magnesium battery pack using INR cells, and there was 130 of them. The battery pack didn't hold a charge, and one of the times I went to charge it, I think I probably accidentally left the charger on too long because it wasn't set for the correct voltage. When the battery pack was built, he built it with 13 cells per pack instead of 12 or 14 like most are done. So the charger voltage was a little bit higher per cell than what should have been, because I was doing a bulk charge, because I didn't want to set it up with 4S, 4S, and a 5S set up and take 5 hours to charge the bloody pack. Anyways, the pack ended up dying, so I took the pack apart. I ended up having to cut everything that he soldered together, and that was a royal pain in the butt, believe me. Now, what I'm doing is I'm rebuilding the pack, and I'm soldering my connections. I probably should have taken I used a glue gun, obviously, just to put them together. Now, I've already built two other packs. They are 14 cells per pack, and maximum voltage for my charger is 51.5 volts, and these packs are actually made to handle 56 volts. So I'm undercharging. Hold on a second while I plug it in. Now, as you can see from Cycle Analyst, right now I have 54.9 for my two packs at 1.5 amp hours each right now. I have a total of 3 amp hours in the bike. Again, I'm using the Dean's 12 gauge connections, 12 gauge wire for my connections to the battery pack, to the controller. I really like this Dean's wire. It's a high conductivity, high filament count. Well, for now I just use suck tape to be able to... I wrap the packs in electrical tape to make sure there was no solder, no points sticking out, and then I wrapped it with suck tape just to keep everything together and more safe and secure as far as I'm concerned. So, we'll see. I've got to find a way to put some kind of a padding in underneath here to help isolate the batteries from vibrations and stuff like that. So, but anyways, at this point, that's where we're at, and we have more cells to put together there, and we have another 5 cells over here. We've tested all of the cells, and I'm trying to match up all the cells to within 1/10 of a volt, I guess you want to call it, or 1.2 of a volt. Depending on what the cell read, whether it was 4 volts or 4.1 or 4.2. I tried to match all the 4.2s together. I tried to match all the 4.1s together. So that when they do charge, because again, I'm just going to bulk charge, none of them really get overvolted. So the most that each cell should get is 4 volts per cell when I'm done charging at 55.1 volts. So, because the max for these cells, they say is 4.2, but I calculated 4 volts per cell times 14. So that gives me 56. Anyways. So that's where we're at right now, and my bus bar. What I did was I took some normal 12 gauge wire that I got from Canadian Tire or a local automotive shop. I twisted it together. I took 2 pieces and I folded it, one long piece, folded it over, and twisted it together. So it made basically 2 pieces of 12 gauge. And then I took my 40-pound sledgehammer and put it in my lap, and I took my other bicycle hammer, my flat hammer, and I hammered it flat so it was nice and thin. So it made the battery packs a little bit thinner, but still had the same amount of conductivity. Here's another piece that I sort of started, so you can, actually some of the strands were broken on this, but you can sort of see the process here. You know, there's the twisting, and then there's the hammering. So that's where I started to sort of flatten this out. But I realized that when I was hammering this out and trying to hammer it flat, there's the camera again, boy I'm lousy at camera, that it had little pockets of holes, so to speak, in between the braid, which I didn't really like right here sort of thing. See, there was little holes in the braiding, and I didn't really like that. It actually left a bit of a gap. I wanted it nice and solid. As you can see in this one, there is no gaps anywhere. It's nice and flat. That's why it's so shiny on the top, because my bicycle hammer has got such a nice flat surface to it. It's almost brand new. Same thing with my sledgehammer. So as you can see, it pretty much bonded the wires together. It was actually pretty surprising how much heat was produced by hammering this together. It was quite warm after I was done the hammering. And believe me, it took more than one pass. It took one pass to hammer it down a bit, another pass to hammer it down even more, and then probably you know, a little bit of hammering back and forth as a third finishing pass to be able to get it nice and flat like that. So, but this should be able to handle the power nicely between all of the cells. I mean, it is two 12-gauge wires, so that's my homemade bus bars.